The entertainment world is spinning out of control tonight because Sean Diddy Combs, the once untouchable music mogul turned federal inmate, has just dropped a bombshell that no one saw coming. In a handwritten letter smuggled out of his cell, Diddy claims there's a sinister poison plot inside the jail and he's naming names. But what's even more shocking? Insiders say this entire story might be part of a final scheme. A desperate master plan to get one man's attention. Donald Trump, that's right. Sources close to Diddy allege he's trying to position himself as a targeted victim, hoping that Trump, yes, the former president himself, will swoop in with a high-profile pardon to save him. Fans are losing their minds online, asking, has Diddy really uncovered a deadly conspiracy inside prison walls? Or is this just his last-ditch bid for freedom? Inmates are whispering about special meals. Guards are suddenly being transferred. And Diddy's lawyers are allegedly working around the clock to verify his claims. But the real question is, who's playing who? Is Diddy being silenced? Or staging the biggest media manipulation of his life? Stay tuned, because this story only gets darker and far more dangerous. The story begins inside a cold, dimly lit federal jail cell where Sean Diddy Combs, once the king of hip-hop and luxury, now sits in silence. His once perfectly tailored suits have been replaced by a faded jumpsuit, and his diamond chain dreams are long gone. But what hasn't left him is his flair for drama and his unshakable belief that he can outsmart anyone, even behind bars. Word spreads quickly among inmates that Diddy has been acting strange lately. He's been refusing his meals, whispering to himself, and scribbling notes furiously on scraps of paper. One inmate tells a guard he says someone's trying to kill him. Something about poison. According to inside sources, it all started 2 weeks ago when Diddy collapsed in the cafeteria. He claimed his throat was burning, his vision blurred, and he could taste metal. Medical staff rushed him to the infirmary, but the test results came back clean. No poison detected. Yet Diddy refused to believe it. He insisted they tried to get me. Man, someone's putting something in my food. He started demanding sealed meal trays and even refused water that wasn't from a sealed bottle. Some inmates laughed it off, saying he was acting for attention, but others weren't so sure. One guard, who later spoke anonymously, revealed he looked terrified. I've seen tough men lose their minds in here, but this wasn't fear of prison, it was fear of something bigger. Okay? And that's when the rumor mill exploded. People started whispering that Diddy wasn't paranoid. He was protected knowledge dangerous. One source close to him claimed he had documents and recordings implicating powerful people outside the prison walls. People who might want him gone for good. The internet caught fire when a letter surfaced online, allegedly written by Diddy himself. In shaky handwriting, the letter said, "They're trying to erase me before I talk. If I don't make it, tell them I didn't go quiet." Fans went wild. Hashtags like #FreeDiddy and #PoisonPlot trended overnight. Some claimed it was a publicity stunt, but others believed it was the beginning of something huge. Meanwhile, Diddy's lawyers were in panic mode. His lead attorney, Marcus Hale, spoke briefly outside the courthouse, saying Mr. Combs fears for his safety, and we're taking those concerns very seriously. Reporters fired questions. Was there an active investigation? Had any staff been suspended? Hale refused to answer. Instead, he muttered, "You'll see soon enough," before disappearing into a black SUV. Inside the jail, tensions were rising. Guards complained about special treatment for Diddy. He was getting extra security, new food protocols, and a separate dining schedule. One officer even resigned, saying the atmosphere had become too political. Inmates began to resent him, calling him the White House boy, mocking the idea that he thought Trump might save him. But the real twist came when a fellow inmate, known only as Ramirez, came forward claiming he overheard Diddy on a call with his lawyer saying, "If I can make enough noise, the right people will notice. Trump's watching everything. He loves a redemption story." That one leaked sentence changed everything. Commentators began connecting dots. Was Diddy creating chaos just to get the attention of Donald Trump? After all, Trump had publicly pardoned rappers before, including Kodak Black and Lil Wayne. The theory suddenly didn't seem that far dash-fetched. As days went by, Diddy's behavior grew more erratic. He started pacing at night, muttering about files and names. Some inmates said they saw him crying in the corner of his cell. Others said he was writing a tell-all document meant to blow up the industry. Whatever it was, people believed he was preparing for something big. The whispers got louder when a correctional officer found a half-burnt note under Diddy's bed that read, "Plan in motion. They won't see it coming. D.C. is the key." Outside the prison, the entertainment world was divided. Some of Diddy's old friends publicly distanced themselves, calling him unwell. Others defended him fiercely. One close associate told TMZ-style outlets, "You don't understand. Diddy's always had dirt on powerful people. Maybe they finally came for him." His ex, Cassie, reportedly refused to comment, but a source said she was worried yet skeptical. Fans online argued endlessly, was this a genuine cry for help or a manipulative act from a man used to controlling narratives? And that's when another twist surfaced. An anonymous post appeared on a gossip forum, claiming that a high-level political contact had been approached by Diddy's team about a potential pardon. The post read, "They're trying to make him look like a persecuted man, so the president feels sympathy. It's not about justice, it's about image." Then came a leaked photo Diddy sitting at a prison table, staring into the camera with a handwritten note taped to his chest that said, "If I die, ask who wins." The image spread like wildfire. Fans compared it to Tupac's last letters, calling Diddy a martyr in the making. Conspiracy theorists began flooding YouTube and TikTok with claims that the government was silencing him for knowing too much about elite scandals. One video even alleged that Diddy possessed recordings involving political figures at secret parties. Whether true or not, the internet ran with it. Inside, Diddy started giving small notes to guards to deliver to his people. One guard admitted, "I don't know what's real anymore. He talks like he's still running an empire from behind bars." And maybe he was. By the end of the week, something extraordinary happened. Reports emerged that Trump's inner circle had been briefed about Diddy's situation. A political strategist allegedly told a journalist, "The idea of Trump rescuing a black celebrity wronged by the system, it's great optics. He loves a comeback narrative." Suddenly, the poison story wasn't just about survival. It was a chess move in a larger game. But then came a moment that sent chills through everyone paying attention. One morning, Diddy was found unresponsive in his cell, motionless, pale, barely breathing. Emergency teams rushed him out. Word spread that he'd been poisoned again. The internet erupted. Hashtag #PrayForDiddy trended within minutes. But within hours, official statements claimed it was a panic attack, not poisoning. Still, few believed that explanation. When Diddy woke up in the infirmary, he told a nurse, "They won't stop. I'm close. I'm too close." That single quote made headlines everywhere. Fans began demanding investigations, celebrities tweeted support, and journalists camped outside the prison. What was he close to? What secret was he talking about? And that's when a mysterious figure, someone claiming to be a former associate, released an audio clip. It was Diddy's voice saying, "They said I'd never make it out, but I've got one card left to play. If I fall, the world falls with me." The internet lost its mind. Speculation turned into obsession. Was this a warning? Was the poison plot real? Or was it all a performance designed to capture the ultimate presidential pardon? Whatever the truth, one thing was certain. Diddy was no longer just another inmate. He had turned his prison sentence into a global spectacle. And somewhere, somehow, he believed Trump was watching, and as night fell over that federal prison, with the noise of chaos echoing down the halls, Diddy smiled faintly to himself, whispering the words, "Everything is going according to plan." The guards didn't hear him, but the camera above his cell did. The morning after Diddy's mysterious collapse, the prison was buzzing like a hornet's nest. Guards moved in tight formation, Reporters swarmed outside, and every inmate seemed to have a new version of what happened. Some claimed they saw a shadowy figure near Diddy's cell just minutes before he went down. Others whispered that a new batch of food deliveries had come in that morning from an unknown vendor. Rumors turned into fear, and fear turned into chaos. But amid all the noise, one thing was clear: Diddy had survived. And he was ready to talk. Inside the infirmary, hooked up to an IV and barely able to speak, Diddy called for his lawyer. "It's happening," he whispered. "They know I'm on to them. It's bigger than music, Marcus. It's all connected." His lawyer, Marcus Hale, looked at him, trying to keep a straight face. "Sean, you need rest. You almost gave yourself a heart attack." But Diddy shook his head weakly. "No, man. You think I'm crazy, but listen to me, there's a plan in motion. If I play it right, I'm walking out of here before Christmas." Hale leaned closer, lowering his voice. "You mean a pardon?" Diddy nodded. "Exactly." That same day, news broke that someone had leaked internal prison security footage showing Diddy clutching his stomach and screaming, "They're killing me." The clip racked up millions of views in hours. Talk shows went wild. Some called it proof that he was being targeted, while others accused him of staging the whole thing for sympathy. Even late-night hosts got in on the drama, joking, "If Diddy's trying to get Trump's attention, this is one way to do it." But the laughter faded when reports emerged that Diddy's lawyer had officially requested federal protection for his client, citing credible threats. Fans were divided. On social media, some demanded justice while others accused Diddy of playing the victim. "He's manipulating everyone again," one fan posted. "Every time things get bad, he finds a way to turn it into a story." Another countered, "You really think the government would admit it if they were trying to silence him? Wake up." Even celebrities were picking sides. Kanye West posted a cryptic message: "They always come for the ones who know too much." Cardi B tweeted, "This industry don't love nobody." Inside the jail, things were escalating fast. Diddy was moved to solitary confinement for his own safety. That isolation only fueled his paranoia. He started talking to the walls, claiming he could hear voices outside his cell. One night, a guard overheard him saying, "Tell them I'll do it. I'll give them what they want, but they have to make the call." The next morning, Diddy's team confirmed he'd written another letter, this time directly addressed to Donald Trump. In it, he described being hunted from the inside, claiming he had information that could change the course of American politics forever. He ended the letter with a chilling line, "Help me, and I'll help you." The letter leaked within hours. Conservative media picked it up immediately. Pundits debated whether Trump should consider it. One commentator said Diddy's not stupid. He knows Trump loves loyalty and redemption. This might actually work. Meanwhile, liberal media blasted the idea, calling it a circus act from a desperate man. But for Diddy, any attention was good. Any attention was good. Attention. He was trending again. His name was everywhere. And that meant his plan was working. Behind the scenes, his team began orchestrating something even bigger. Reports surfaced that Diddy's old media contacts were circulating unreleased footage, rumored to show him talking about political elites and dirty money. One insider told a podcast, "He's sitting on explosive material. He wants the world to think if something happens to him, everything will go public." Soon, conspiracy channels claimed that the files were hidden in a safe location, programmed to upload automatically if he died. It was the perfect bait. Now, everyone from journalists to intelligence agents wanted to know what he had. In the middle of this chaos, a shocking twist hit. A former security officer from Diddy's private team went on record saying, "He told me once, if they ever get me, I'll make it so big no one can ignore me." I thought he was bluffing. Now, I'm not so sure. Those words echoed across social media. People began to see the poison plot not just as survival but as strategy. Meanwhile, inside the prison, strange things kept happening. One morning, guards discovered a pigeon trapped inside the ventilation shaft with a small USB drive attached to its leg. The drive was confiscated immediately, and no one knew how it got there. Rumors spread that it contained recordings from Diddy's old private parties, featuring names that couldn't be spoken aloud. One officer reportedly said, "It's like a movie in here. Nothing feels real anymore." And then came the betrayal. Ramirez, the same inmate who'd leaked info earlier, was suddenly transferred to another facility under emergency reassignment. Word spread that he'd been offered protection in exchange for cooperation. A week later, a tabloid published a bombshell story quoting a source inside the prison, who claimed Diddy was orchestrating everything, paying off guards, sending fake letters, and planting rumors about poison just to gain public sympathy. Overnight, Diddy went from victim to villain in the media's eyes. He was furious. In a phone call with his lawyer, he exploded. "They're flipping the story. I'm not crazy. I'm fighting for my life." Hale tried to calm him down. "Sean, this is what they do. They build you up, then they tear you down. Just stay focused." But Diddy wasn't listening. "No, man, I'm done staying quiet. They want war. I'll give them war." That night, Diddy started writing again, page after page of handwritten notes filled with names, dates, and cryptic messages. "They took my crown, but they won't take my story," one page read. Another said, "The truth isn't a weapon, it's insurance." He sent copies of those letters to his team through coded channels. By the time officials realized what he'd done, it was too late. Pieces of his confession manifesto were already online, and people were dissecting every line. But just when the story seemed to reach its peak, another twist dropped like a bombshell. A leaked voicemail surfaced, allegedly between one of Trump's aides and a music industry contact. In the recording, a male voice said, "We're aware of Combs' situation. The president doesn't make promises, but let's just say he appreciates loyalty." That one clip sent the internet into meltdown. Was Trump really considering stepping in? Or was someone manipulating the public again? The prison erupted in chaos once more. Guards doubled their patrols. Media vans parked outside 24/7. Even Congress members were asked about the Diddy situation during press conferences. Meanwhile, Diddy sat in his cell, calm now, almost smug. A fellow inmate later told reporters it's like he knew something the rest of us didn't. He just sat there, smiling, saying it's already in motion. Days later, a strange delivery arrived at the prison addressed to Diddy, an official-looking envelope marked "Legal Correspondence." When opened by staff, it contained a single sheet of paper with just 3 words: "Watch the news." No one could trace its source. But that same night, a major news outlet broke an exclusive. Trump's campaign team had been briefed on a potential high-profile pardon scenario involving a celebrity inmate. They didn't name names, but everyone knew who it was. And while the world debated whether Diddy's poison plot was real or staged, something else was happening behind the scenes, something that would push this story into even darker territory. In the shadows of that federal facility, alliances were forming, secrets were being traded, and a new plan was unfolding. Diddy wasn't just fighting for freedom anymore. He was setting up the ultimate game of revenge, as he told his reflection in the small mirror above his sink, whispering so softly that only he could hear. "They thought they buried me, but I'm just getting started." And from that moment, everything began to spiral into chaos once again. The chaos had reached boiling point. Every major network was running some version of the story now, from cable news panels to YouTube conspiracy channels. Diddy's poison plot, as it was being called, had become a cultural wildfire. Memes flooded social media. But beneath the jokes, real tension was building. If the story was fake, it was the greatest publicity stunt in modern history. If it was real, then someone powerful was trying very hard to silence him. Inside the prison, security was on total lockdown. Diddy's cell had been fitted with extra cameras, and his food now came in sealed plastic trays delivered by 2 officers at a time. But despite all this, he looked calmer than ever. Guards said he spent hours meditating, whispering to himself and humming old songs. It was as if he'd accepted his fate, was waiting for something. One night, a guard passing by heard him say, "They'll all see when the light hits. I just need the right stage." Few days later, the right stage appeared. A popular news host announced that she had received a mysterious package containing what she claimed was a recording of Diddy speaking from inside prison. In the audio, Diddy's voice was calm but chilling. "They said they'd take my empire, and they did. They said they'd take my freedom, and they did. But they can't take the truth. And if I don't walk out of here, I promise you the truth will walk out without me." The host played the clip live, and within minutes, it was everywhere. Fans began demanding action. Petitions calling for an independent investigation into the poisoning of Sean Combs gathered hundreds of thousands of signatures, but not everyone was buying it. Federal officials quickly released a statement saying, "There is no evidence of foul play or tampering with Mr. Combs' meals." They claimed Diddy was spreading misinformation to manipulate public opinion. That only fueled the fire. One fan tweeted, "They always deny it first." Remember Epstein? The internet was hooked again. Meanwhile, inside his cell, Diddy was plotting his next move. According to a guard, he had a wall covered in tiny notes, some written in code. It looked like a war plan, the guard said. He'd move pieces of paper around like he was playing chess. Then one afternoon, during recreational time, Diddy was overheard telling another inmate, "If they think I'm desperate, they're wrong. I'm patient. The longer this drags out, the better it is for me." Behind the scenes, Marcus Hale, his lawyer, was doing damage control. Reporters were hounding him nonstop. During one press conference, a journalist shouted, "Is it true Diddy contacted Trump personally?" Hale hesitated, then said, "My client has written several letters expressing his concerns. I can't comment on who they were sent to." Answer was all it took. The next morning, headlines screamed, "Diddy reaches out to Trump directly." On talk shows, political analysts started dissecting the situation like it was a thriller. "Look," one commentator said, "Trump loves making headlines. He pardoned rappers before because it made him look powerful. If Diddy plays the victim card right, this could be a win-win. Trump gets praise from hip-hop circles, and Diddy walks free." But another analyst countered, "Or this is all an elaborate ruse from a man who's always known how to control the narrative." Back in the prison, Diddy's plan was expanding. A prison janitor later revealed that Diddy had convinced certain inmates to spread his story further, promising them exposure once they got out. "He told us we were part of something historic," the janitor said. He called it Operation Phoenix, said it was about rebirth. The name spread through the prison halls like wildfire. Everyone wanted to be part of Diddy's new movement. It wasn't just a rumor anymore, it was a revolution brewing behind bars. But the system pushed back. One night, Diddy's cell was raided without warning. Guards confiscated his notes, his coded letters, even his makeshift calendar scratched into the wall. But they missed one thing: a hidden piece of paper tucked behind the mirror with a single phone number written on it rumored to belong to a former political aide connected to Trump's 2020 campaign. The next morning, Marcus Hale received a strange call. A man's voice on the line said, "Tell your client to stay quiet for now. Moves are being made." Hale tried to trace the call, but the number vanished within minutes. Shaken, he rushed to see Diddy. "You need to tell me what's going on," he demanded. Diddy smiled faintly. "I told you, Marcus. This is chess, not checkers. You think I'm scared? I'm directing the show." Meanwhile, on the outside, people close to Diddy began speaking up. One of his former producers claimed that Diddy had been obsessed with Trump's psychology for years. He used to say Trump understands the game, the show, the fame, the power. Diddy studied that. Another insider said he's not looking for forgiveness. He's looking for leverage. But while Diddy was busy playing mind games, something unexpected happened. An anonymous whistleblower, someone claiming to work at the prison, leaked internal memos showing that Diddy's food had been tested multiple times, and that one early sample had shown traces of a foreign chemical. The document was quickly deleted from the web, but not before screenshots spread. Suddenly, the impossible seemed possible again. Maybe Diddy wasn't lying after all. This revelation flipped the narrative overnight. Celebrities who'd mocked him now expressed concern. Even Drake posted a cryptic story. They always try to silence the ones who know. Fans began protesting outside the prison, chanting "Protect Diddy." For a moment, he wasn't a fallen mogul, he was a symbol of resistance. But the celebration didn't last long. That same week, Ramirez, the transferred inmate who'd once leaked info about Diddy, was found dead in another facility. Official reports called it a suicide, but conspiracy theorists had a different theory. "He knew too much," one tweet said. "They're cleaning up the trail." When Diddy heard the news, he reportedly fell silent for hours. Then, he said softly, "They're scared. That means I'm winning." He started writing again, but this time, he wasn't scribbling codes, he was writing speeches. One guard said he saw lines that read, "They tried to bury the truth, but they forgot I'm the soil." His confidence returned. Every night he rehearsed statements in front of his reflection, practicing his tone and pacing. It was like he was preparing for a televised moment. And maybe he was. Because 2 days later, Trump made a surprise appearance at a campaign rally and dropped a line that sent shockwaves through the media. "I hear there's a certain music guy who says they're after him." Maybe he's right, maybe not. But I'll say this: some people deserve a second chance. The crowd went wild. The internet exploded. Was he talking about Diddy? Inside his cell, Diddy watched the clip over and over again on the small news monitor. A slow smile crept across his face. "That's the signal," he whispered. "He's watching." His lawyer confirmed that they'd soon be filing an official pardon request. The media frenzy reached a fever pitch. Every outlet speculated what kind of deal Diddy might be offering in return. Some said he had political dirt. Others believed he was trading information for freedom. But as the attention grew, so did the danger. According to insiders, Diddy began receiving anonymous notes slipped under his door. One read, "Stop now." Another said, "The deal is not yours to make." He burned both messages immediately. Yet, instead of backing down, he went bigger. He started dictating a memoir to his lawyer over phone calls, calling it "The Truth Behind the Bars." Excerpts leaked online filled with veiled threats and names of high-profile figures. Every new leak felt like an explosion. Politicians denied, lawyers threatened lawsuits. And the Justice Department allegedly ordered an internal review of the prison's security. But through it all, Diddy stayed calm, smiling like a man who had already won. And then came one more twist. One of Trump's former aides appeared on a podcast and claimed that a certain celebrity's plea for help had indeed reached Trump's desk. "Let's just say it got his attention," he said, smirking. When the host pressed for a name, the aide replied, "You already know." By now, fans were convinced that Diddy's so-called poison plot wasn't just survival, it was a mess. He had turned victimhood into leverage, chaos into currency, and danger into power. But as he prepared for what he called the final act, something happened that no one could have predicted, an event that would flip the board one last time. That night, under the dim prison lights, as Diddy sat at his small desk, scribbling in silence, an officer approached and said quietly, "You've got a visitor, not your lawyer." Diddy looked up slowly, eyes narrowing. "Who is it?" The officer hesitated, then said, "Someone from Washington." And that's where the next twist begins. The officer's words hung heavy in the air. Someone from Washington. It was the kind of phrase that didn't belong in prison talk, the kind that made even the toughest inmates go silent. Diddy's heartbeat slowed, not from fear, but from recognition. He'd been waiting for this moment. He smoothed out his prison shirt, fixed his posture, and whispered to himself, "Showtime." They took him to a small interrogation room lit by a single flickering bulb. The air smelled of metal and disinfectant. On the other side of the table sat a man in a gray suit, expression unreadable. He wasn't law enforcement too polished for that. He looked more like someone used to giving orders than taking them. "Mr. Combs," he said calmly. My name isn't important. I'm here on behalf of certain interests in Washington who've been following your situation." Diddy leaned forward, his voice low and steady. "And what do these interests want from me?" The man didn't blink. "They don't want anything from you yet, but they're curious. You've been making a lot of noise about poison plots and conspiracies. You've hinted that you possess information that could be politically damaging. They want to know if that's true." Diddy smiled faintly. "Let's just say I've got receipts. And if I don't make it out of here, those receipts have instructions. Automatic release. Global coverage." The man studied him for a moment, then said, "Mr. Combs, threats only work if you have credibility left. And right now your credibility is complicated." Diddy said, chuckling. "You think I don't know the game? I built empires out of rumors. I turned scandals into songs. People believe what I tell them to believe. And right now, the people believe I'm being hunted. That's power." The man paused, then leaned in. "And what do you want in return for staying quiet?" Diddy looked him dead in the eyes. "I want my freedom. And I want it from the only man who can make it happen, Donald Trump." The agent's expression didn't change, but his silence said everything. After a few seconds, he stood up. "We'll be in touch," he said, leaving behind a sealed envelope. When Diddy opened it later, he found a single phrase written on white paper: "Keep your story alive." That night, for the first time in weeks, Diddy slept peacefully. Because now he knew he wasn't crazy, and he wasn't alone. Someone out there wanted him to keep pushing the narrative. Whether they were allies or manipulators didn't matter. All that mattered was momentum. The next morning, chaos erupted again. Major outlets began reporting that sources close to the Trump campaign were exploring the optics of a celebrity pardon. Reporters swarmed Trump's rallies, shouting questions. Trump, in true showman fashion, grinned and said, "Some people out there, they're saying crazy things. They say they're being poisoned, framed, hunted. Maybe they are, maybe they aren't, but I've always been about fairness." The crowd roared. The clip went viral instantly. Inside the prison, when Diddy saw that footage, he laughed. "He's teasing it," he said to the guard watching him. "He knows I'm trending. He loves the spotlight, and I'm giving it to him." But things started turning darker. That same week, Diddy's lawyer, Marcus Hale, disappeared for 3 days. When he returned, his hands were shaking. He wouldn't talk about where he'd been, only saying, "They wanted me to deliver a message, stop digging." Diddy smirked. "So they're scared now. That's how you know it's working." A few nights later, during a power outage in the prison, guards reported seeing a flash drive slide under Diddy's door. When they checked later, it was gone. No one knew who had taken it or what was on it. But whispers said it contained video evidence, something explosive. A few inmates swore they heard Diddy whisper, "Phase 2." By now, his fan base had evolved into a movement. Protests outside the prison grew larger each day. T-shirts read, "Don't poison the truth." Documentaries were being filmed. Conspiracy podcasts dedicated entire episodes to decoding Diddy's cryptic letters. Every new rumor brought more fame. And fame was the one currency Diddy still understood better than anyone. And then came the biggest twist of all someone hacked into. An old burner account linked to Diddy's management team. What they found were drafts of letters addressed to Trump dated weeks before the first poison claim. In one, Diddy wrote, "If chaos is the only way to get attention, then chaos it is." The leak split the world in half. Had he orchestrated everything from the start? Was this entire saga a staged performance to trigger Trump's sympathy? The media went into overdrive. One side called him a manipulative genius, the other called him a master liar. Talk show hosts debated whether he was a modern-day Machiavelli or a desperate man out of moves. But one truth couldn't be denied: he had everyone talking. Then, in an unbelievable move, Trump's campaign office officially acknowledged receiving correspondence from Mr. Combs, though they refused to share details. The statement alone sent shockwaves through politics and entertainment alike. News anchors declared for the first time in history, a hip-hop mogul accused of criminal activity might be negotiating a pardon through a self-created global conspiracy. Inside the prison, guards noticed a new change in Diddy's demeanor. He no longer paced or muttered. Instead, he sat calmly, writing in a thick notebook labeled Legacy. When a fellow inmate asked what it was, he smiled and said, "The ending?" That night, Marcus Hale arrived unexpectedly for an emergency meeting. "You did it," he said breathlessly. "They're actually considering it. The pardon list is being reviewed." Diddy didn't react. He simply looked up and said, "Good, because the final act is ready." "What final act?" Hale asked. Diddy leaned closer. "The broadcast." And sure enough, the next day, a mysterious live stream appeared online titled "The Truth They Tried to Bury." It showed footage of Diddy inside prison, reading from his letters, recounting the alleged poisoning, naming people he claimed wanted him erased. No one knew how the stream was set up or who uploaded it, but millions watched. The internet went nuclear. Hashtags exploded. Memes, theories, debates, it was everywhere. Officials scrambled to shut it down. But by the time they did, the video had been copied and reposted thousands of times. It was too late. Diddy had taken control of the narrative one last time. He wasn't begging for freedom anymore. He was declaring war hours later. Trump posted on his social platform, "I've always believed everyone deserves a fair chance. Some people have been treated very unfairly. Stay tuned." That single message broke the internet. News channels began speculating that a presidential pardon could be imminent. But inside that cold, gray cell, Diddy didn't celebrate. Instead, he whispered to himself, "The show's not over till I say cut." Because deep down, he knew something the rest of the world didn't. Every player on this board, including Trump, was now part of his performance. Every twist, every outrage. Every leak had been written in his own invisible script. A week later, the prison woke up to chaos again. Diddy was gone. His bed empty, his clothes folded neatly, and a handwritten note left behind. The poison was never in the food. It was in the story. No one knew if he'd escaped, been moved, or been taken. The official statement said relocation for security reasons, but fans didn't believe it. They flooded social media with theories. Some claimed he'd been freed secretly. Others swore he was in witness protection within hours. Trump posted another cryptic line. "Some people just need a fresh start." The internet exploded once again. News anchors tried to piece it together, but there were no answers, only more questions. Diddy's lawyer refused interviews. His friends stayed silent. And that live stream, the one that broke the internet, vanished completely from every platform months later. Sightings began popping up, grainy photos of a man in sunglasses boarding a private jet in the Caribbean. Another of someone resembling Diddy walking into a luxury villa in Dubai. Nothing confirmed, everything denied, but every time one of those images went viral, a familiar comment would appear beneath it. The plan worked. And just like that, the legend of the poison plot turned into something bigger, a myth. A ghost story whispered in studios and backrooms across Hollywood and Washington. Some say Diddy played the system. Others say the system played him. But no one denies this. He turned his downfall into a global phenomenon in the end. Maybe there was never any poison, no assassination attempt, no secret deal. Maybe the whole thing was exactly what Diddy always did best: control the story. Because, as he once told his lawyer, truth is just entertainment with better lighting. And somewhere far from the noise, maybe he's smiling at the chaos he left behind, because in his world, every headline, every conspiracy, and every gasp was part of his final act. And with that, the world was left asking one last question: did he outsmart everyone? Or just himself? Only Diddy knows the truth. So after all that chaos, betrayal, and mystery, the world is still asking the same haunting question: what really happened to Diddy? Was he the victim of a dangerous poison plot buried deep within the prison system? Or did he mastermind the entire saga as one last play for power and freedom? Did he truly strike a secret deal with Trump, or vanish under a plan that only he could have written? No one knows for sure. But one thing's undeniable: he turned his downfall into one of the most talked about stories in modern entertainment history. The internet is still divided. Some fans swear they've spotted him living freely under a new identity. Others believe he's still in custody, waiting for the perfect moment to re-emerge. Every few weeks, another rumor drops. Another blurry photo appears. Another anonymous source claims he's coming back. It's become bigger than a scandal, it's a legend. And maybe that's exactly how Diddy wanted it. But what about you? Do you think Diddy was a victim or the ultimate manipulator? Did he uncover a real conspiracy, or did he just create one so convincing that the world couldn't look away? We want to hear what you think. Drop your theories in the comments below, because this story isn't over until you decide what to believe. Was it survival, strategy, or pure spectacle? Hit that like button if you were shocked by the twists. Subscribe so you don't miss the next wild chapter in this ever-spinning world of celebrity madness. And share this video with someone who still thinks they know the truth. Remember, every headline hides a secret. Every rumor hides a motive. And in Diddy's world, nothing is ever what it seems. Stay tuned, stay curious, and as always, keep watching the drama unfold.